Hello, viewers. My name is Adam.
I'm here.
And this is Siki Media Productions. And this is another editorial for you.
I'm tired of getting mediocre crap. It's been a huge thing going around as far as Hollywood is concerned that they are starting to show their colors as far as old Hollywood is concerned towards new talent, specifically hiring new directors in only to do the work that they would expect an old school eye to perform.
Yes, it's basically hiring for hire.
Let's wind this back a bit. We're going to specifically go ahead and go into detail with the movies that are unfortunately the culprits that you start seeing with this trend. Specifically the ones that we're starting to see within Disney going into quote unquote Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars is basically the front runner of this issue, having already done this to the first two of these Star Wars anthology films. And the first one, which came out in 2016 with Gareth Edwards directing Rogue One.
Well, hold up, back up. Let's go backwards. This didn't really just start there. Let's be honest. It really started with The Force Awakens. And then it went into more further with Rogue One.
I'm not really guessing what Force Awakens, what's going on there.
Well, think about it. The whole thing behind Force Awakens was, yet again, you got the rehash of the same story. No one was taking any risk in that.
And a lot of this, you have to think about the other behind-the-scenes members going after these new talents and just wanting them to make something that's already been done. And a major culprit of this trend, basically, is Kathleen Kennedy. It's like her handprints are all over the place now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's about trying to make sure the brand itself is
it stays intact,
polished enough. I'm not really understanding her message.
I do definitely get the sense that she definitely wants to try and maintain that nostalgic feel that everybody wants to feel from a Star Wars flick. That is important. That's where you're going to get your fan bases, and that's how you're going to continue reeling in new fan bases. But you can have your cake and eat it too. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to, you're having that nostalgic film for a movie, but putting in the effort to make something new with it, to drive it forward. And that's something that the Star Wars franchise has had a huge problem with as far as the movies are concerned. Wonderful, huge, amazing, beautiful things on the outskirts of the series. When you're talking about the television series and the animations, and then you got the video games and the books.
Yes.
There were so many cool stories, so many new characters, so many new possibilities that were being introduced inside the mythos. Yeah, but when you go into the movies,
it's just flatline.
Thank you.
Death of whatever creativity that's supposed to be sparking in those movies doesn't really resonate. And unfortunately enough, a lot of people did thought about a lot of controversial issue when they decided to throw away the Star Wars extended universe and rebrand it as Star Wars Legends. Basically, they don't exist in canon anymore, but they tend to pull what they want out of those things regardless. But the thing is, with Star Wars in particular, they're not making anything. At least they're not expressing anything new within the franchise that's there, especially with expanding into these multiple universes and characters.
And just be honest, there are so many cool things that can still be talked about within the Star Wars universe. Or maybe it's like which I would hate to be the case, and if it is the case, then there's a huge problem.
What is this?
Maybe people don't have an imagination anymore.
That brings up a very good point. And I think it's not just the fact that Disney and Star Wars is concerned, it's actually all of Hollywood. Which brings it to the very crucial aspect to this video, is that there seems to be so much of a divide between old Hollywood and new talent.
Yes.
And this thing being noticeable frequently in this new era of reboots and remakes and just trying to revitalize brands
that's already been done. That's lived so many damn lives.
And we see that there's nothing new coming out of these things, and we all know that's important to keep a franchise going is to eventually make something new about it. And
I mean, here's the thing: we gotta go into the idea of what a reboot's supposed to do. With a prequel or whatever side stories you're doing, what's the purpose behind those? Now, yes, at the end of the day, we gotta remember Hollywood is a business, and first and foremost, is in the business to make money. Yes. It may be its business of doing that is by entertaining audiences with movies or television, however you want to go about it. The mass media is an enterprise. It is a business.
Yes,
I understand that, and you want to make money. But nobody said you have to sacrifice quality for quantity.
And the thing is, not just Disney's at fault here. It's other studios.
No, it's
and not. A good example of a very old studio and having little issues with new talent trying to vitalize basically an already dead franchise is back in 2015 when Fox had an issue with director Josh Trank. That movie was such a disaster, it's beyond words. I can't believe they even released something like that.
At the end of the day, it came down to they were hemorrhaging so much damn money that they had to release something. But if that was the case, God, why didn't you just let somebody finish the dang work?
Yes, if you're going like it's hard enough that you was pulling out new talent, and clearly you was only saving money already with basically just new people.
Well, let's not forget, we also got to mention what the movie we're talking about.
It was Fantastic Four.
But at the end of the day, that wasn't the biggest issue.
The biggest issue was basically storytelling.
Exactly.
And editing.
Yes.
Because that's completely important because editing can pretty much...
It can save or destroy your
break your movie, basically. And unfortunately enough, clearly there was some issues behind the scenes with the director having that fault, but I just think that maybe if y'all scale the budget down a bit, then just let him show whatever vision he had, then maybe it would have been at least a decent, solid film at most. But
it could have been.
See that version light of day. But that's just one of the issues that's clouding this new Hollywood trend.
Then let's ride it back. We started out with Star Wars. Let's go back into Star Wars. And this time we'll go into Rogue One.
Rogue One, yes. Now we coming back to Disney with Rogue One with Gareth Edwards. Gareth Edwards was hot off the press with the 2014 Godzilla movie. Nobody knew exactly how successful that movie was going to be. Okay. Final product.
Yeah, it was an okay film. I mean, I'm not. It definitely hit some marks, but for the mass majority of it, it was like,
I don't know.
You know, whatever.
I don't know what happened there.
But no matter. But he did showcase his unique style, and I was looking forward to that in Rogue One.
Yes, but the thing is, I don't know what happened behind the scenes. It was like basically, it was like Gareth Edwards' issue wasn't as blown up as it is as of right now with the Phil Lord and Christopher Miller situation, but clearly something went wrong behind the scenes and during the cutting board that they felt as though they needed to do some major reshoots and bring in script doctor Tony Gilroy to supposedly fix up this movie. When it came to Gareth Edwards, he approached both these movies, one from Warner Brothers and the other with Disney, with a dark and atmospheric, gritty take to both franchises.
And they just shot it down. Or at least they originally thought that, you know what, we can do this. It's probably what had helped him sell his take on the movie in the first place.
Yes.
But at some point down the road, they probably thought about the other half of their audience that they're supposed to be trying to bring in, which was your family audience, your young kids. And they felt as though maybe the stories that he was trying to tell wasn't going to necessarily fit the parents' and who was going to bring these kids in, and ultimately it was going to help, going to make them lose money. But in my opinion, you're dealing with two franchises that are mega giants.
Yes, and the thing is, it shouldn't be such an issue to crack a few eggs, especially when it's already delicious as it is.
Oh, thank you.
And it shouldn't be afraid to do something new. Case in point, this. If y'all even notice that I got my hair cut. But the thing is, it's not going to tamper with it. It's still new. It's still a familiar face.
Same guy, ain't no difference.
It makes no sense.
I mean, I don't know what it is between. I don't know what's going on in Hollywood when it comes to the whole idea of adding in new content or just reinventing the story or adding new elements into the story. Going back into Star Wars, like I said, I love the idea of Star Wars. I should say that I love the idea of Star Wars. And I do like certain things that came out of the franchise, namely the cartoon series, which is a phenomenal. Both versions of the Clone Wars and now Rebels, yes. They're phenomenal. Actually, have some of my favorite characters throughout the entire series.
Yes. But for some reason,
these movies,
they just don't get new talent.
No.
And we're going to pretty much segue this into the major point in this video. The Han Solo story.
There has been so much talk coming from this particular issue.
And take your side, either A, it was Kathleen Kennedy trying to be the boss and trying to make sure that no negativity comes out of this as much as it has.
Or you're going to Lord and Miller just not getting the whole process of the movie making experience, and putting and not just taking care of business and directing the film the way that people thought the film should be directed. Back in the day, no matter how you feel about it, they're the directors.
Yes.
They're supposed to be doing this in the vision that they best see fit. Yes, I understand you want to try and make sure that the spirit of Star Wars is in there, and I'm pretty sure they were trying to do that. But why would you take them off of the driver's seat?
I don't know. That don't make sense. Why. Because old Hollywood tend to have this mob sensibility and this closeness when it comes to already established talent. And this Han Solo story, you had the screenwriter who had his son, Lawrence Kasdan, and I don't even know the son's name. It's irrelevant at this point.
It really is.
He had issues with the two directors not really following the script as much because these two, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they arrived from the comedy background. I love the 22 and 21 Jump Street movies, and I like the Lego movie. And the thing is, clearly there is some improvisation going on in the film.
Star Wars has some of the best moments in the Star Wars series have been improv moments.
Yes. Here's the case point. A lot of the comedic scenes won't not happen if the stars themselves took it amongst them and actually try and bring up the material. Because at the end of the day, the script of Star Wars is lacking in actual depth and humor.
Oh God, yes. At least let's direct it again. The movies are lacking in, not so much the other stuff. The other content, when it comes to the books, the movie, and the television shows, and the damn video games, they're doing fine.
Yeah.
But the movies?
Oh God.
Ugh.
No, it's actually, I'm quite surprised at how popular Star Wars is. But with an issue like this mob sensibility going around here, and it's clearly you do what I say or you're off the project, it's very dangerous to new talent who wants to embark in these blockbuster territories, but you think that just because you think that your product is going to be like dwindle in revenue because somebody wants to do something new, it's ridiculous. You need new talent out there.
You need fresh new ideas.
And that's the only way that a company is going to evolve.
Thank you. That's how the company is going to evolve, and that's how your the franchises and your stories are going to evolve. You're not allowing any room for growth.
Yes, and it's gonna be a little bit negative towards these new directors, but clear enough, they don't have the backing to help them out here. And this is why I think they need to bring upon themselves to, do you think that you're right for this project, especially if you know your talent? But the thing is, going into these things that you are going to a big system at this point. And the thing is, whether you people like it or not, the studios do have a lot of say in what they do because that's their product. But it should be more of a understanding going forward.
It should be a collaboration. That's what I thought it was supposed to be. But, that people are you're supposed to be working together to produce the best product, and that's not what's going on.
Yes, and the thing is, it can work.
Yes,
obviously, but some shortcomings will come to it, and it's unfortunate enough that as of right now, there's not any solid gray line that people can meet at and to collaborate with such new talent, especially with these old existing properties. I know for one thing, Edgar Wright clearly got out of the situation, and he's doing well even after the Marvel Ant-Man fiasco.
Which at the end of the day, no matter how you look at it, he still came out on top on that one, considering that Ant-Man movie was still his vision.
Yes. Even though there was a different director on board, he left. But the thing is,
at the end of the day, he still that was still his Edgar Wright's movie. So say what you want about him, or say however you felt about the situation. If you want to attribute any type of real success towards that movie, it has to be really credited to him.
Yes,
that was his vision, and that's what got the money. That's what brought people to enjoy that film. So why are you not allowing these new directors to do what you hired them to do? To show their vision.
It's just ridiculous at this point. Well, there you have it, people. This was our thoughts on this old versus new Hollywood quite scenario. I really hope it gets better.
I do too. I wish and I pray and I hope that Hollywood will learn a lesson in this, that you can collaborate, you can have nostalgia, but you should also keep in mind that you need to revitalize your products and your stories with new talent, with new directions. Don't be afraid to embrace new ideas. That's how you're going to grow. But as always, if you like this particular show, please like, share, and subscribe. And please, if you want us to be informed on any new content we're going to bring to you, there's a little button down there. Please click it, and we'll be sending it more to you.
Also, you can follow us on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We've got a Twitter page out there.
Yes, we do. Briefly Pod Up.
So, as always,
my name's Adam.
I'm Aaron.
And this has been a Seeking Media production.
See you later.
Thank you for watching.